Hello.
Hi, Sachi.
I'm hoping to have a good quorum for this first meeting, so we can get started by 4:05.
Sure. Sounds good.
Hello.
Hello.
So where is this recording going? Is it just recorded locally?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, got it.
We'll get started in a couple minutes here. I shared the link to the meeting notes in chat as well.
Also, the link, I just noticed the link is Zoom LFX. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Looks
that's how it generates the Microsoft Corporation under your name.
That's really okay. Well, let's follow up on that. I've never seen that outside of this meeting.
Oh, we use that in Copa too. That's like a new type, I think.
Oh, it's new.
I think it jumped,
Yeah.
right? It jumped to the Zoom immediately.
Huh?
I mean, the link, you mean the Linux Foundation link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will jump to the Zoom.
I know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I guess that's how it generated through the event dashboard.
Okay. And I guess I'm logged in as my LLFX like login. That's why it's showing Microsoft. That's funny.
I use GitHub and somehow it finds it. I'm
It's
not sure where
fast.
it pulls the data.
Yeah. It's too
So let's get started. So, Sachi, are you going to drive or?
Yes, I'll share my screen here. Faye, do you want to start with a quick introduction and then I'll go as well?
Oh yeah, welcome to the KAITO's community meeting, everybody. Just I think we know everybody. Is there anyone that's want to introduce themselves? In case.
For the recording.
Oh, did you record?
Yes.
Yeah, it has been a long time. So, but anyway, we started. So from now, every Tuesday, we will discuss the KAITO's upstream roadmaps, progress, issues, program discussions, proposals through these Zoom meetings. So everybody please share this, whatever, to your anybody that has contacted you before about any KAITOs and from now on, you can point them to this meeting. Also, I got pinned by some guys who want to contribute to KAITO and doesn't know what to do. For those guys, I just say we start have meeting, join this meeting to see what we are doing, and just raise your hand if you are interested in certain part of the implementation or contributions. That being said, for today's, so assuming nobody wants to introduce, I think, do I know everybody? I think I know everybody, besides maybe Alex. I didn't, is this the first time you join? Anyway, so if you have time, you want to introduce yourself, just please do so. I'm just going to have a quick announcement because as you know, KAITO is donating to CNCF. We do know that the CNCF strongly recommend use Apache license. So I've talked with the maintainers last week. I also talked with some guys that has done the major code contributions who left who want to work on the KAITO in the future. I got their permission to change the license. Therefore, I make a PR changes the license from MIT to Apache 2. So that I guess we are still in terms of the licensing, just for transparency, some of the folks are both identify some of our VM dependency is involving the GPL license components. So we have filed the exception issues in CNCF to waiting for CNCF lease approval. But this is in general, I do see some response from the community about the license used by Touch and setup tools and NIM-PY, etc. They got some explanations. I wish those explanations can help, CNCF board to approve this exception. Yeah, that's all about the license progress. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, we can discuss the next item here, support for CPU inference. Maybe start with like sharing the context and then what your proposal highlights.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Oh, can I take over the screen?
Yes,
Sachi?
go ahead.
Okay. Give me a second. I have locked up. Share. Okay, let me know when you can see it. You should see this is the proposal. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just want to introduce this proposal and we can take comments after this one. This is the one that's linked in the meeting notes. Feel free to add comments afterwards. So for context, KAITO focuses specifically on inference workloads using GPUs only. You basically require a GPU to be able to create an inference using the VLLM as the engine. However, I think we heard from the users and the community that some folks are interested in the CPU-based inferencing in addition to GPU-based inferencing capabilities. So I think this enables to more democratize the experience, to allowing more like accessibility and more like outreach and more adoption. And it also obviously not everybody can afford the GPUs, nor will have access to GPUs as their cloud provider. You might not get quotas, or you might want to optimize the cost because your team is looking for budget, or maybe you're just doing this by yourself and you don't want to spend additional money for GPUs. So, and then for just basically that's the context of like we're KAITO and then the where the current inferencing kind of stands. And then for the proposal is I have a project called AI Kit. AI Kit is basically a build kit front end to create container images that are minimal. And you basically just need Docker, and then it creates like either distroless based images or like very minimal images. And it supports CPU, obviously. This includes AMD 64 and ARM 64. It basically can run anywhere. And it supports quantized models for the main focus, because those are small and it can run in anywhere, including like Raspberry Pis or your local laptop or anywhere basically, without any GPU requirements. Obviously, it makes it faster if the GPU is involved, but it's not a requirement. So, and then it has a bunch of other stuff, and we can go through that. It does support, it can support VLLM as an engine too, with GPU and CPU. So again, I won't go deep dive into it too much unless there are questions about it. So I think for as far as like the CPU enablement, I think it's fairly easy to extend KAITO to accept any image that this includes, like that are created by AI Kit. So one of the approach that is like it's doable today, I can show you a demo in a second, is basically remove the GPU checks. So we since we want this anyway to enable CPU workloads. So today KAITO has some GPU checks to make sure that it has like the NVIDIA device plugin, and then I think a few other things like the node labels and whatnot is already present. So this is like an example one. This is actually not correct. This needs to be like, the point is not allowed. I was just testing this earlier. So this basically runs on a kind on my local VM. I'll show a demo of this in a second. So you basically just provide the label selector and then the preferred nodes, and then you basically provide the image name in here, and it'll just run as is. Because it supports OpenAI API, it just works out of the box with KAITO, the current onboarding flow. And this can be further enhanced with like do something like this if there's further interest. But for now, I think this should be more than enough to be able to support it. Basically, without GPU checks, you can just deploy something and it'll run. And then in the future, I can add something to AI Kit that like something like an optional, like a target KAITO flag, to make sure that, hey, if the workloads are running and we want to like a user wants to specifically target KAITO for like dev test purposes, and then hey, maybe they just wanted to try something in CPU and then maybe scale out with GPU later on using the VLLM inside KAITO, we could add something like a target KAITO in the CLI to make sure that we get a user get a warning or a fast fail if it's not using is it specifically restricted to the VLLM and or transformers. We'll have to check about transformers, but VLLM is definitely doable. And then let me show a demo. Again, you can read this one. I don't want to go too deep into it, but you can think about like the immediate benefits I could talk about is improved developer experience being one, since you can easily create any model images. Let me show you that one using like a Hugging Face, for example, or any HTTPS URL or OCI artifacts. This specifically talks about like the giga files, but pretty much anything would work. And then you basically you can create one. And if you wanted to go deeper and do more customizations, you can create a YAML. Let me give you an example of that. Yeah, and if you wanted to, this is basically adding like a custom chat config, and then some custom prompt templates, and in specifying these in here. And then you can also just say, hey, I only want to run on GPU. So you can say specify the runtime on CUDA. But if it does not find the GPU, for example, it will fall back to CPU, and it will also fall back to the most optimized CPU runtime also, depending on the architecture, such as AVX2, AVX, or non-AVX so instruction sets. With that said, I'll do a quick demo. So the model files I created, this one, I'm just going to show you all how to deploy this in a KAITO cluster on my kind VM. Let me change my
So that the quick question, the thing that you are showing, is this CRD or what is this? Is this a YAML?
This is let me, I have a thing. This is a YAML file that you basically this is a for build kit front end YAML file. This is not a CRD. It looks kind of like that one because of API version, but this is not a CRD.
So where is the
You
YAML?
basically-
Is it inside the image? Where is it?
No. So it basically it works like this. So you basically let me, if there's like a, yeah, you kind of looks like this. So you basically provide Docker build X build or Docker build, and
Yeah.
then you provide the YAML file in here, and this is that YAML file.
Oh, this is for build.
I'm feeling
Yeah, this is for building. Say,
looks
hey,
like a Dalek.
yeah, this is basically, you can think of it as like a Dalek prototype before Dalek.
Yes.
Okay.
Define a new snacks for the building model building.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then let me show a demo so you can understand that one. Need to change my screen. I'm trying to figure that out. So, okay. Yeah, so this is a kind cluster. This is just running it on my VM. And it's very basic only as a single node. And then I'm going to deploy a workspace. This is basically what I mentioned earlier. This is the KAITO workspace CRD. And then the only change in here, I mean, there's no changes to the CRD schema as far as the workspace is concerned. The only thing is like I labeled my kind control plane as custom LLM. Whoops. And then that's about it. And then it uses my custom image to remove the GPU checks, so it can run on anything. So I basically do workspace, and then I can just get the cut workspaces, and this is going to be like instant because it's very, very fast. Like it's ready. There's no provisioning. It's just deploys on the thing. It's just the image full time, and images are pretty small. Especially this one is like a teeny tiny because it's just a 1B model. And let me copy paste a few comments.
And also because you comment out the GPU stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Or the other change that I will need to make is for now, this is using 8080 as the port. So I'll just have to add this as a thing. We can always change that one later on. But I'm just going to have to use 8080 for now. It should work fine. Oh, I need to change the name. And I'm just following the KAITO's tutorial in here. So, and then you can run the models endpoint. So this is should return the llama 3.2 1B. If not, I made a oh, I didn't get the cluster IP, sorry. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this thing. It just kind of hangs up. Okay, there it is. So I just need to add the cluster IP because this one requires a cluster IP. And then running this again. Oops, that's annoying. Okay. Now we are at the mercy of Kubernetes terminating curl. I'm just going to restart this terminal. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, I made the same mistake again because I did not set the. Setting the cluster IP again, and then I'm just gonna echo the cluster IP to make sure it's right. And we'll try to curl again. Yeah, and then that basically just because this is using OpenAI API, there's just no changes because they're just like OpenAI API compatible. And then say, I want to now use the chat completions in here, so you can say, hey, what is Kubernetes? And that should also work. So now it might take a tiny bit longer because it's going to load the model. And then I did not put any restrictions, so it's just kind of like just went on and on and on. So and then this basically just works in my like VM running on a client cluster. So it's like super easily testable. And so you can basically dev test very easily without provisioning anything, without spending money and time on GPUs. And it's basically available everywhere. With that said, I'll open up for questions.
Yeah, very nice. So I think the problem you are hitting right now, if you don't use preferred node, if you just specify the CPU SKU, we will create a new CPU for you. I think that workflow should work. Qinghui can just correct me if I'm wrong. And the one that you are hitting, the device plugin check, I think that code needs to be fixed. I think we will do the fix so that you can use preferred node without GPU device plugin. I like the way that you are presenting now. I think in the beginning we can just using the template plus the preferred node, which is the simplest workflow without any node, even the node provisioning. Where in some cases, if there is a case we need to deploy a new node, so we can go with GPU the existing GPU provisioner approach that should still work. I have a few questions. What do you expect people to run the model? So I checked the AI kits. You host a bunch of quite a few models in GitHub repo. Do we expect users to directly use that GitHub pre-built images or?
No, yeah, so it's kind of like the same idea as the KAITO presets. So if you want something that's like, hey, curated, you can get that.
Okay.
But if you have a random model of Hugging Face, you can basically bring that. Where it comes is doesn't matter, but obviously users will have to create their own images using Docker, I mean BuildKit specifically. But
So
as far as I know, yeah, they can use anything.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask is, do you first let me ask this way. First of all, do you agree? Do you plan to move that repo under KAITO org? Do you think that's going to help? I think that's going to help.
Yeah, I'm open to moving down under KAITO project. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be super. The second thing is for the ones in the did you use GitHub the container registry or are you using GCP? I forgot. Is it GitHub?
Yeah, it uses GHCR, GitHub Container Registry.
GHCR. Okay, you are using GHCR. So are you going to claim you support all those kind of things, or you just say use at your own risk if there is a problem? So what is do you expect to maintain those images? It's like if anybody sees any of the images has problem, they are going to file issues, you are going to replace it, or what is the way that you maintain the images?
Yeah, so the images are automatically updated. Let me show you that one. I'm gonna screen share again. 1 second. Share. Need to find my. Okay, cool. So yeah, so images are automatically updated, automatically created and updated. So I have this GitHub Actions flow. It's called update model. So you basically specify all the ones that are supported. And then in here, this is all using the GitHub's agents. So you basically provide a list of all of them. And then when there's a new release, like a runtime release, it automatically
Oh.
creates them and it automatically signs them. Like everything is automatic. There's also a patch one. I don't know if this is still applicable because I changed the base image to a Ubuntu chiseled image. So I don't think we support that in Copa. But let me see, where is that? Yeah, so there's also a similarly like these are the supported models, and this runs every week and it patches them. So like similarly, the maintenance should be automatic, really.
Sure. So do you have a support model list somewhere in the code? I don't know how you manage that. I'm just curious.
Oh, the support model?
Yeah, the full support model list. Basically, what are the images you are going to try to patch? I saw a lot of in your main page, README, but is that be a full list? So or you have
Oh,
some
the preset images.
Yeah, preset images.
Yeah,
So,
they are in here, pre-made models. Yeah, so these are the ones that they are more like curated ones. So basically, whatever is like kind of either I was interested in it to check it out, or like maybe
yeah, I'm just curious. Are
yeah.
you using so KAITO has supported model to the YAML file. We record that YAML file so that pipeline can easily read off them. So like for instance, how does your pipeline knows the full list to know that all
Oh,
these?
that's a good question. Yeah, I like that idea actually. I don't have that.
Okay,
So currently, so it's basically in here.
you hard code something like that.
So in here there is basically it's
Oh
not
yeah.
hard coded, but there's like a list basically.
Okay, this. Okay.
It's in here. It's not in a JSON or anything like that.
Okay.
I really like that idea to be able to pull this from a JSON instead of like in multiple YAML.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's just I'm just how you manage. So I think that's okay. Yeah, you before are even doing more aggressive than what we did is like you are doing patch. You have a cron job to do the patches because this is okay. So Qinghui, we may think about it. We may can do it. So with the base images, we can have a cron job to do patches, something like that. Anyway,
We can also
There's
hook that up with Copa, so
questions in the
that
chat.
should be super easy.
There's some questions in the chat.
Oh, I'm sharing my screen, so I can't use it. Let me
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about the model image. I can see the AI kit supports so many different runtime, and in your model building spec, like the inference API spec, how did you decide which runtime to be included in your target model image? The
Yeah, that's a
dependency.
great question. So by default, it changes. Let me because I'm sharing my screen. So these are the ones that are like I think this is what you were asking about, Faye, by the way. These are the official ones. They all come in here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So in here you can specify the backend in here. So this one uses Llama CPP, but you could create one for example, VLLM. It will look like something like this.
If I specify a Llama CPP, you will only install the Llama CPP dependency,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
Not
correct. Yeah.
okay.
And then for like the VLLM, this is just a example one. So you basically specify backends and then you can do VLLM. Right now you can only use one backend at a time, but I was thinking we could do like, hey, I want VLLM and I want transformers, or like I want
I think the VLM here is only support for GPU, right? Because if it's CPU VLM, you need to build it in your own.
It supports CPU VLLM. So it comes from here. So the inference
Because
engine.
VLM doesn't have an official CPU release.
Yeah, it builds it. I'll show you in a second. So in here,
It's built by other guys.
yeah, so in here, there is like an install.sh. Yeah, so right here, it
Okay,
builds
okay, all right,
the
all right. They
CPU
build
one.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I see. Thanks.
Oh, and then the other thing that we were saying, you don't have to say backend. So local AI supports like a bunch of backends, and it will try each of them, and then it will fall back. There's like a list of priority. It will fall back to whatever runtime that would load the model. If it cannot load the model, then it'll fail in the end.
Good. Yeah, next question is
Got it.
about
That's cool.
yeah, release. So what is your typical release cadence, or you think, yeah, that's in general. So how do you decide to have a new release? So for new features or
It usually goes with local AIs, like a cadence.
okay.
I mean, it's mostly this was like a personal project, so it's basically, hey, if I wanted to
I
do
know,
something,
I
oh,
understand.
this is
Sure.
cool, then I would release something. There's
Yeah.
no specific release schedule, but I'm happy to create like a cadence for a release.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So because
I
yeah, I
had a
think
question. Oh, sorry,
oh,
are you
go
are
ahead,
you
go ahead.
done? Sorry, are you done?
Yeah, done.
I had a question on, because this opens up it is really good for dev, right? Like anytime you want to kick the tires and pick, and then it just automatically does it. But I think as you mentioned earlier, given that Kaito only supports VLM and Transformer, like how do we balance between what people run with AI Kit versus what they can use Kaito to run, given the backend constraint?
Yeah, I think that's more like a education and documentation question. I think we can, like I said, mentioned in the doc, I can add like a, hey, if you're targeting Kaito, and then if you specify a non-VLLM backend, I could say, hey, if you're targeting Kaito, then you should know that this is not going to work. If you decide to go with the scale up with just using the Kaito with Kaito runtime, which is VLLM only.
Right. And I think you had also mentioned, users could restrict that by doing like dash dash target Kaito, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so I'm interested in hearing what do other maintainers think about that? Like how do we want to make sure people use dash dash target Kaito, or are we okay with just like again having some kind of documentation and maybe in the CLI having some kind of warning, but support all, because then they can kick the tires. But as soon as they try to run in Kaito, obviously it wouldn't work.
So can you remind me what does that dash dash Kaito mean?
So it's basically like this does not exist today. Just FYI.
Oh,
So it would be like, say, because so AIKit supports a lot more than just like text generation. Say it can support like image generation today using diffusers, the Hugging Face diffusers. So like it can create images. You can use like a image generation models like Flux and whatnot. It can do those things. It can also, like, local AI does. I don't have this on AIKit yet, but local AI does support things like speech to text, text to speech. There's a whole bunch of like the capabilities that it supports. Obviously, Kaito does not have those today, right? So I think Rita's question is more like, hey, how do we tell users that, hey, you can do image generation with AI Kit, but then you can't do that with Kaito?
Or it won't run with Kaito because Kaito only supports 2 backends.
I mean, it can run with the AI Kit stuff, but it's not with the Kaito presets, because Kaito only supports VLLM.
yeah, because I don't see the problem because AI kits build the whole images.
Right.
It will just work.
Yeah, I think it's more like an education thing. Hey, like if you're using the AI Kit's images, know that these capabilities are not going to work. In like documentation stuff, and then you can obviously continue to use AI Kit, like dev test or even in production if you want, in whatever. But if you want, say, like multi-node inference, AI Kit doesn't support that today. So then you'll need to use the VLLM.
Yeah, I think document is going to be a critical thing. I don't think there's any tactile blockers, and the integration with, and I like the strategy's first approach. It doesn't even change the workspace CRD. So
Yeah.
and if you look at the whole YAML, I don't think it is complicated things. Just
Yeah.
two more lines, most likely two more lines. So I really like that. So I totally agree. Document is going to be the thing. How do we introduce the AI case to the KAITO org, saying that okay, we are going to have a ways of the KAITO to support those CPU models. We will give you some guidance when to pick GPU, when to pick CPUs for your best practice. We may even, as I was thinking, the integration work is I think we need to spend sometimes do even the benchmarking with some of the CPU models to give people more sense what are you looking at, right? So is this slow or not slow or something? So that's also something Banqi. I think we talked mostly in the before. We want to have some benchmarks to evaluate some of the performance characteristics of the endpoints. I think we should include rows. So give people a more good, guidance, documents to say, okay, I give you a number, you pick whatever that you want. So show everything and let people to choose. That's all that does.
Since you mentioned the performance aspect, I just want to highlight that obviously AI Kit wouldn't be able to like take advantage of the weight separation that I think that feature that got added recently, right, to KAITO, like separating the
Which one?
weights and the
Oh,
base image.
I don't worry about that too much because those models typically are small, right? So that you don't create huge images, I guess.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it can be huge, obviously.
But you can
depending
use
on the
AI
model.
Kit for any image.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of my point is there are that's what Sergio is saying, right? There are features that we curated in KAITO because we expect
Have you
KAITO to
tried
work
with
a
a
certain
really large
way.
model using CPU? Would that really work well? I'm just curious. Have you tried?
You can. I mean, it'll just be slow, but you can
Yeah,
definitely.
this is just slow, but how slow? Okay, anyway, we were going to try. So something it is working, but 10 times slower. I really thought anybody is going to use it.
Yeah. And just to make sure that everything's clear, it does support GPU, NVIDIA specifically. It does
Right.
support GPU too.
I agree. I understand that part. I understand.
Questions. So I know StarTouch initially showed a workspace custom resource that has preferred node, and we concluded that either user can create nodes through Carpenter, like CPU-based Carpenter node, or use preferred node, right? Do you think, do we see?
Sorry, I'm interrupting you for 1 second. Can we do CPU-based Carpenter nodes? I thought the nodes are like hard coded.
So you mean in KAITO? We
KAITO,
support,
yeah.
so you can put the GPU SKU there. It should work.
But I thought it was like hard coded to GPU SKUs, not CPU.
No.
No, like for RAG engine, for example, we even validated that you can specify a CPU SKU.
Oh, okay.
We can provision a CPU SKU actually. Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
We don't block that. So we just
No.
Oh, okay.
so we don't.
Yeah.
So it's like you said that our GPU prisoner doesn't care it's GPU CPU. As long as the SKU that
Yes. So you can just place the
but I
CPU
can
SKU in the
argue
spec.
that you are saying that okay, sometimes I don't even need to spend time to start another new CPU VM because I already have one. That one is good enough.
Right.
So
and I saw this one. I thought this was limited to these SKUs.
no. This is for
No,
okay.
it's not limited to this.
This is not limited.
Oh, okay, that needs to be done. Sorry, Ernest. Please go ahead with your question. Apologies for interrupting.
No worries.
Sorry, I think the name is confusing because it's it's GPU provisioner, right?
I'm so sorry. That's a good point.
It is.
Yeah, but it's actually
a
GPU. It's actually node provisioner.
It's a
it sounds
node
like.
provisioner.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah. It's a
PU
trick.
provisioner.
Yes, yes.
Just one
Yeah.
second, please. I think the GPU provisioner is strictly creating GPUs, SKUs, but KAITO is something else. So if you use something really, like other than GPU provisioner, you will be able to create CPU. So GPU is like a plugin. If you remove it and add like deploy Carpenter, for example, instead of it, you will be able to create CPU, but you will not be able to create GPU. So
Yeah, I think Heba was right. So if you remember my arcade diagrams, we are saying that this is a Carpenter, API. We are using node claim. So that means there is no GPU CPU. It's node claim. So it can be any.
So basically, GPU provisioner actually completing a missing feature for Carpenter, which is provisioning GPU provisioner. Provisioning GPU SKUs. But if you wanted to remove GPU provisioner and deploy Carpenter, it should work, but you will never have GPU SKUs supporting via Carpenter.
Ernest, so did you want to
Oh yeah, I think my question is, do we see ourselves just launching the workload without caring about the node? Because me and Sartash has been looking and reviewing Jonathan's PR, which is a maintainer or a newcomer from Rita's team. And there's this one weird thing where if you put prefer node, you have to label the node with a specific label first that matches the workspace CR's label. So I was just wondering, do we see ourselves just setting the resource field as nil and just simply launch whatever deployment?
Exactly. So I share some of the thoughts. So this is a frequent asked questions to me. So why do we need that? Yeah, I can answer something, right? So the historical reason is that when we started the project about 2 years ago, there was no DRA. So all requirements you can set is number of GPUs, but there's never a way you set which kind of GPU do you want. So that's a problem. So for some models, we definitely want high-end GPUs, A100, not V100, but there's no way to specify it. So we have to provision upfront. Otherwise, how the whole thing is going to work. But as the DRA come into the picture, I can imagine with the maturity of the node provisioner to support DRA, we can even make an entire resource spec optional. We just have a pending part, relies on autoscaler or NAP to spawn a GPU with the right SKU that you are request in the part spec with the DRA. You say this part needs to have a GPU with larger 80 gigabyte GPU memory, something like that. I know that is doable in DRA. So as in the future, it's near future, basically. Once DRA is shipped and the autoscaler support DRA, we can examine to get rid of the entire, pre-provision.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, because I've also examined other similar operators. Like none of them, or I guess all of them, just expect some sort of GPU nodes to exist, and it doesn't really check for memory. And if it just it just So yeah, I guess that's what KAITO is for.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
But at least for now, until that DRA stuff is integrated, like users need to label their nodes, right? There's no way around it.
Yeah.
But if I only have one GPU type, like why I still need no label?
It's just for consistency, easier. You
Yeah,
can always have option BTP.
But it's like more work. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just want to make it easier, make sure it works. A little bit imperfect, but work, is easy, a standard to work. I think let's move on. We only have 15 minutes left. There are a bunch of items we need to discuss.
So what are the next steps? Let's define those, and then we can.
Yeah, next steps. I think so that we can work together to come up with a good document. So to and maybe you can consider moving the repo and the KAITO org. So that's I think that's necessary steps so that in the KAITO repo I can fully introduce. I mean, we can announce we have a collaboration, not exact collaboration. We including AI kits as the part of the tools for us to support all the CPU related models.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's chat offline then for the next steps, and yeah, we can figure those out.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for these updates. I think we can move on to Ernest. Updates on Gateway API inference extension.
Yeah. Update is I have a PR open for Gateway API inference extension. So just to summarize what this is about, is adopting the upstream standard for serving inference workloads through Gateway. And this is going to pave the road for KAITO and whatever cluster is using KAITO to achieve the upstream AI conformance tests. I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but essentially it's simply creating additional custom resource related to the Gateway API inference extension, along with KAITO workspace creations. I linked the PR in the meeting notes, so feel free to take a look. Any questions on that? Okay. I think next topic is also mine. KAITO headlamp plugin. For those who don't know, we launched the headlamp plugin for KAITO, so that plugin allows KAITO users to chat with existing workspace, creating workspace, and integrating MCP tools to compatible models that are being served by KAITO. Anything you want to add, Chloe? Chloe's the lead Chloe's leading the implementation of the headlamp plugin.
Yeah, I guess just a quick update for the headlamp KAITO plugin. So yesterday I cut a 0.0.3 release with the MCP tool calling enabled. So if you have like the headlamp app desktop app installed, feel free to take a look and like raise any issues if you see any. And I'm almost done with the documentation for the full end-to-end user experience. So I'll probably drop that in the Kids for AI chat soon. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. I think next topic is also mine. I didn't edit there, but I can talk about it. So multi-node inference in KAITO is already something we support through stateful sets. Currently, there's one model that requires multi-node distributed inference, which is the Llama 70 billion model. And I know Qinghui is adding DeepSeek support for KAITO as a preset model, so that also needs multi-node inference. I also noticed LWS is part of the 060 milestone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
something? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about it as the next topic. Yeah, but that's
Sure.
Yeah, because we are going to support the autoscaler, we need the LWS for scaling for
Right.
multi-node.
Is there do we have docs on multi-node, like how it works and examples and
Yeah.
and gotchas?
I do have some design proposal in KAITO, but that's for stateful set. We can repurpose that into like a LWS based proposal. I can link that in the chat.
Yeah, AWS integration. So it's not 100% straightforward, but it's kind of straightforward. So, so do you think we should have a design doc, or just some of the notes? There's not much. It's just one way to do it. There's no alternative approach. It's just do it. All I want to understand is so Qinghui may volunteer to try it out. I want to understand how is the AWS controller a pretty complicated thing or just roughly lightweight controllers? Because that means we need to have a strong dependency on that. But a good thing it is a Viva API, so that's thing I like it. So I have less concern.
Can we
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. Oh, go.
Yeah, just a small request to maybe do like a lightweight design doc for this, just for broader like visibility of that work and like what's in scope.
All right.
Feel free to hijack my existing design docs for multi-node distributed inference and just add on top of it, because I think I've done bulk of the design, and LWS is based on stateful set, so I don't think there is gonna be a lot of significant change.
Yeah, I think it's very straightforward to
I think we
migrate to
I think we can
LWS.
add, because this is kind of important. So we are not going to discuss now, but in the future, maybe we are switching the entire thing using AWS, get rid of the deployment, because we are most likely we are using the local NVMe. So it's going to be somehow a stateful workload. It's not a stateless anymore. And the code is going to be much easier. The code is going to be much simpler.
Yeah, I like that. I've never thought of that. I've never deployed LWS with just leader mode.
But that's future. That's
Okay.
Yeah, you can set the size to 1, and there's only a leader in the LWS.
Okay, that's cool.
It's just the same as the stateful set. Okay, and I have a question about the AI gateway. Could you simply explain how do you create the workspace according to the inference model, inference pool CRD? Yeah, it will be good for the reviewer. And I'm thinking maybe there is some issue with this way, because if you create some multi-node inference workspace, you need to provide config map for now, right? To specify the max model length. People need to provide a config map. Yeah, I think this is maybe a problem in this way.
So
When
the
user
gateway.
However, in the future, we can technically remove this config map using the estimator. But for now, a config map is required. And how can user to provide its config map if he only create the inference model or inference pool CRD?
Yeah, so right now, user doesn't have to create their own inference pool or inference model. So everything is going to be managed by the workspace controller. So you know how right now, when someone create a workspace custom resource, the controller will reconcile and create a deployment or a stateful set and all the service and all the Kubernetes resource necessary to run the inference workload. For my work, my PR is simply adding on top of that and adding 2 additional custom resource that the workspace custom resource is going to manage. So the inference pool and the inference model. And that's all KAITO controller is going to do. And once we have the inference pool and inference model, then I'll write documentations on how you can use those resource created by KAITO in the user's gateway, and how they can set up their route to, I don't know, split traffics between 2 models, or route based on body or the payload that the user supplies. Is that what you're asking?
I didn't take a closer look at your PI. Will you watch the inference pool inference model CRD, or just during creating a workspace, you will create some manifest based on the inference pool or inference model.
Yeah, we'll watch both. But everything is gonna be behind a feature gate for now, and that feature gate is set to false.
Okay. I will take a look later. Yeah.
Okay.
At the PR. Yeah.
And I guess I can. I have a docs. Maybe I can. It's best for me to create or move my docs internally to GitHub, if that makes things easier.
Yeah. I think you can make it public for
Okay.
the community. Yeah.
We
Okay,
should
I'll do that.
probably start collecting all the design docs. Whether it's a link to docs or just push it as PRs, just for future reference, because there's no way we're going to be able to keep track of all these docs if we don't persist this somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
You mean like have a folder for designs and then just push PRs there?
We already have that.
Okay.
I just didn't add the Gateway API inference extension one to there.
I see.
Yeah.
So should all future proposals be pushed there instead of like say Google Docs or Word Docs? This is more for future proposals, I guess.
I think GitHub.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that would be preferred as opposed to
Yeah.
docs. Some of them are already linked in the website, but that may be like a static list that needs to be updated frequently.
Okay, I put this in the meeting notes. If someone can just link to that folder, that'd be great. Okay. Can I share my screen real quick? I think we only have 3 minutes, but yeah, I just want to really quick. Can you see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just want to real quick, like, maybe for the next meeting, we can go through 060 release triage. Because like basically until we have that meeting, this is just a landing place, right? If you think certain issues or PR should be part of the next milestone / release, please label them as like for example, as make sure it's part of the KAITO roadmap project and it's the milestone 060. That way, when we all join together next time, we can review this together and then vote on which one we want to commit to for the 0.60 release. And then this is also just a different view, but it's basically the same idea. But this is going to be something we use going forward for future releases, and those who don't have milestones. I think it's much clearer to see, especially if you want to make sure it's part of the upcoming releases. And we can kind of go through this next time. Any questions? And then you can link to that here.
Can everyone just confirm that they have access to that roadmap? It's in the broader KAITO project like projects board, but yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I can access it.
Cool. And I guess only maintainers can add to do these things, right? So we're good there, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, yes, right. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. And then we can maybe talk about that next time. Right? Cool. We finished on time.
Nice. Thanks,
That's
everyone.
a lot of agenda.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Really
Sure.
great first meeting. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.